Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar. My name is Aditi and I'm the ambassador of Buzz at Tatwik. To give you a brief introduction, Tatwik is an authorized Google partner for reselling Google Analytics 360 suite and is also one of the leading providers of data analytics solutions and for consulting SMEs and large enterprises. Today, this webinar is on predictive remarketing and how you can achieve a higher ROI using Tatwik's Predict End model. The presenter is Bismayy Mohapatra. He's a product manager at our firm at Tatwik. So just a few things before we get started. I have, well, you can see the webinar panel. If you have any questions, please type in all your questions into the panel and I shall enter the control panel. And I shall take it up at the end of the webinar and we shall be sure to answer as many questions as time permits. I shall also be carrying out very few polls during the webinar so that it will help us to know you guys better. All right, and we also have a free cool takeaway for all our attendees towards the end of this webinar. So please stay tuned to find out what it is. All right, so before we get started, I have a very quick poll to run for you guys. It'll help us understand you better and it'll help us to know what is your biggest marketing hurdle. And we'd love to take those into consideration while we are delivering the webinar. Right, so, oh, interesting. So we've listed down the most common hurdles that people face, and we are inspired from our own troubles. So high ad costs, low return on investment, and poor ad creatives are a few of the most common problems. All right, cool. We've got really interesting results. Let me share those with you. Okay, interestingly enough, there are no poor ad creatives, Bismayy. We have high ad cost is 22% of the problem. Low ROI is 33%, and well, there are others. Guys, if you can please, you know, tell us what the other problems that you're facing in the chat over here. We'd be grateful. We would be able to hopefully answer them as well. All right, thank you guys for taking the poll. Now, without any further ado, I'm just going to hand over the session to Bismayy. Please take over.
Oh, hi guys. A very warm welcome to everybody again. So I think I was 15 days back, I was taking another webinar on Predict End model, same model, but the use case was different. It was about uninstall predictions for an app. And we had a really interesting session that day because I got flooded with questions about how do you do your predictions, how successful it has been, how do you test accuracy and whatnot. We had a hard time answering those questions, reaching out to those people, and I think we did a fair justice of doing that webinar. On that same line, this is another webinar. This is another use case. It's a remarketing use case. Nothing new in this. Everybody knows what remarketing is. What are the problems? Already you guys have answered. So I would just let it be as it is because remarketing as a topic is already full blown into your minds. You read blogs day in and day out, you read those growth hacks, you read those tips and tricks by famous marketers, and also you read case studies from hundreds of digital marketing agencies all over the globe, and they tell you what's best, how to remarket, when to remarket, whom to remarket, and XYZ. So what's new here? That's where I would request your attention as I go through the agenda first. So first, in the agenda, I will be talking about some stats and gaps and opportunities. So what is the problem behind the remarketing and whether we can convert some of this problem into an opportunity. That's where I will be focusing on. And then if that opportunity we have converted using predictive analytics for remarketing, that will be my second in the agenda. And finally, there will be a case study that I will talk about. It's a successful implementation of our Predict N model for remarketing for an e-commerce client, one of our e-commerce clients. And finally, as usual, there won't be any black box. I'll let you dive deep into the model that we have run with certain limitations, of course. And that's how we'll go through this agenda. So let's jump to one of our first stats slide. And it says, I love this one meme. When I was trying to search for remarketing memes, and I found this right on my face on Google image. Say, so you think you know everything about remarketing, and that's what I actually, Aditi is our marketing head, and I actually I said, so you also believe the same, right? And we had a great laugh, hearty laugh over it. So let's find out. So how much we know about remarketing. This is a wonderful stat from trends.builtwith.com. They say that in shopping and business and vehicles, travel, technology, these are the domains where Google remarketing or Google's AdWords remarketing or DBM remarketing is used generally. So if you see top 10,000 sites, there's a good number. Then there is top 100,000 sites, and then top 1 million sites. So it's around, in shopping, there is around more than 3,800 people or 3,800 sites that are using. So this survey, I think this is not a survey actually. This is what they do with trends.builtit.com. They scrape through sites and find out how many of them have put the Google remarketing pixel on their websites. Similarly, I had another stat for Facebook custom audiences. So Facebook remarketing pixel on their websites, and you can see actually it has changed. The business has come first. If you go back, Google remarketing, shopping is at the top, and then business. But here, Facebook custom audiences, business is first, and shopping is second. Why is that so? Nothing so surprising, because most of the B2C businesses, and they would have their Facebook pages, and they do a lot of this brand campaigns using Facebook audiences, which is really more targeted. And if you go through some of the results, generally the CTR is better, or the CPC is little lower than Facebook ads, and that again depends on business to business. Correct. Another wonderful start. I was going through a blog. I was trying to collect some stats about remarketing, and this blog, it was an infographic from wispon.com, and they had a few good stats, and these are really valuable stats. And everybody, every infographic, like every stat in this infographic screams about why remarketing is important. Everybody knows remarketing is important. So let's just go through the stats once more. They say that if you're running a display ad, the CTR is only 0.07%. But if you're doing a remarketing ad, the CTR goes like very high. It's like 10 times of it. It goes up to 0.7%. Wow. If you want to do a conversion to action button, you actually can increase up to 147% if you do good amount of retargeting. So this second stat is which has been which is based for our remarketing model, the Predict 10 model that I am going to talk to you about in the future. This is another one. Website visitors were retargeted to the display ads are 70% more likely to convert on website. Again, the same theory that we need to just retarget them. But why retarget them? If you just think about your loyal customers, your past buyers, your returning users, these people are actually your gold mine, because they have visited your site, they have a good feedback, they had a good experience on your website. Most of them would have. They have done certain transactions. They know ins and outs of your website, at least to some extent. So you generally want to remarket to them, or you want to target them more effectively or in a more personalized manner, so that you cross-sell them, or you upsell them, or you at least bring them back to your site again, because they are going to be your promoters in some future period, right? This is another one for ComScore study, they say that retargeted ads leads to about 1000%, 1046% increase in branded search. Again, it helps you in brand awareness, correct? Okay, fifth stat is interesting. Why? Because even I have been annoyed by a lot of online ads that flash onto my screen. Actually, yesterday I was playing a game and certain ad of a Google's product was on my site again and again. So I was I was funny because it was funny because I had already that app on my phone, but still the same ad was getting repeated. Uh, but here the service says that I am wrong. At least 59 plus 30, that's around 89%. 89% of people are quite okay with showing them ads, which are actually retargeting ads or remarketing ads, which are more personalized, or the creative is so good that it actually allows them to go back to your site and do certain transactions. Sixth one is actually for e-commerce people, and I think every e-commerce client, or if some of you are from e-commerce industry and you do marketing advertising on e-commerce, you know that people who have abandoned their shopping carts, like I have done previous just recently on Amazon. I had one product on my cart for the last 4 days, and suddenly Amazon sends me an email and says that the price has gone down by 200 rupees. Why don't you come back and just buy it? And actually I completed the purchase today. So but this retargeting or this remarketing email that they sent, which actually makes the conversion go up to 26%. Otherwise, if you hadn't retarget, only 8% of these people would have come back. So you can see the magnanimous results, or the impressive results that retargeting can get for you. Again, all of this said, we know why remarketing is important, so I will not waste any more time on this. Just some few stats that I wanted to show to you just to set the ball rolling. I will talk to you about what's the gap right now. And this gap is about your remarketing gap, the gap in remarketing. So let's say, let's take an ideal case, a practical case. You have some of your analytics tool to track your visitors, correct? So you have the behavioral attributes, you have the average session duration, what kind of products they're viewing, what is the page depth, what is the geo device category, what kind of transactions have they done transactions to typical payment modes, or are they doing cash on delivery, and XYZ, whole lot of wealth of data on your visitors. What do you do next? If you know these people are returning visitors, or these people are people who have intent to come back to your website, you create some particular audience segments and you run ads on them. You might use your display network or your search network or other ad networks like AdRoll. You might run ads on your social medium or Facebook or Twitter ads, or you run email or video campaigns. So this is like these two things are given to you. You have already spent on tracking. You have already spent on creating these audiences. So you have already spent. It's almost like would be a lost cause if you don't get your campaign's performance. Unfortunately, that's the case. You have a very high ad cost, but you do have a low CTR, low ROS, low conversion rate, low revenue. So, and why is that low? That's where the problem is. Like, for example, you are employing some third-party digital marketing agency to run your ads, and they do have their expertise in running ads for you. They have wonderful creatives for you, but still you are and you're spending a hell lot of money for this, but you are not getting enough of it. So can we remove this problem, or we can convert this problem to an opportunity? Yes, we can. Even if you are e-commerce or a lead gen or a publisher, everybody does remarketing at some point of time. Somebody will be doing it through Google AdWords or DoubleClick or Facebook. Somebody will have AdSense on their pages like publisher does. And so all these cases, the context is I track visitors, I run my campaigns, and I'm expecting higher orders. That's fine. So how's the problem getting converted into an opportunity is if there are 100 people coming to my site, and out of that 90 people or say 70 people are returning visitors, and I know about them, I know their pattern, I know their spending pattern, I know their visiting pattern, I know their browsing pattern. What do? I start retargeting all the 70 people and say your CPC is like $1, you're spending $70. And if your conversion rate is like 2%, because usually for an e-commerce site it will be 2 to 3%, what happens? You are just getting 2% of the 70, that is like $14. Your ROI is poor. So what do? If I say, why don't you use some better models? Why don't you use some better prediction analytics and remarket to only that set of audience who carries a higher probability of revisiting your site and purchasing? Or say if it is a lead gen, they will be submitting the details on your website. Then I will give you an audience who is like 20 in number, whose CPC, let's keep it again $1. So you are actually spending only $20. So you're saving on your ad cost. And while because you are sending out your ads to a less number of audience, you have more leeway to create more better personalized creatives, and you remarket to them more effectively. So you get more higher conversions, and that's where your CVR good grows up. Impressive, right? Sorry, you understand that this problem can be actually an opportunity for you. Yeah, I think Aditi wants to buzz in here. Please, Aditi.
Yeah, Bismayy, thanks. So, and obviously I'm back here for one more poll, but I had a very interesting question that I wanted to ask. I wanted to know, how do our attendees run remarketing campaigns? Some people do use in-house marketing team, others have external agencies, and I think a lot of people also have a mix of both. So if we can find out, if we know what is the channel for their remarketing, maybe I think we could include it in our presentation as well. All right. Some people are still taking the poll. All right, guys, last 10 seconds and I'm then going to close it. All right, cool. So I'm going to share the results with you guys. So it seems that 44% are running their remarketing campaigns in-house. External marketing agencies, 33%, and a mix of both is 11%, and the others are also 11%. It's pretty cool, right, Bismayy?
Yeah, I think Aditi, even we should change our remarketing style. We should bring in everything in-house, because we have this wonderful prediction model, right? We can use it for remarketing ourselves rather than being a mix of both. What do you say? Is it? Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you, Aditi, for the poll. Next thing, I'll jump to the prediction model. We know predictive analytics, the power, it's actually the dark horse, I would say. We have been using descriptive analytics till now to understand what's the cause, what's the why it happened, and why my campaign failed, and the like. But predictive analytics is still in a nascent stage. We know we can build wonderful models for this. We can ask the machine to let us take our next decisions, but we are somewhere still waiting for it. Like, we are not putting the predictive analytics into action on our everyday decision making, because most of our remarketing is again taken either by heuristics or by third-party agencies, or it's more of scenario based, say, for example, or event based. For example, it's Diwali and I need to run a lot of this advertising campaigns, and I also have returning visitors, so I kind of group them and I just push these campaigns. So bringing all this into a single context, I would like to tell how predictive analytics can actually help in remarketing, and for that, what kind of model or what kind of solution has Tatwik created for this certain use case. So the solution is, we have a predictive machine learning model. it generates an audience segments. This audience segments are qualified visitors. Why? What qualified? That these people have more than 80% success rate of converting on your website. Okay, and they are going to convert as a customer within the next n days. It might be 7 days for an e-commerce site, it may be 15 days for a lead gen, or it might be a month for a certain business site. So the point behind is like, if I could get that audience, that quality audience list, and I could just remarket to only them, and I might leave the rest of the audience, of the returning users audience, then actually I'm saving a lot on my ad cost and still getting higher conversions. Is interesting, correct? So how do we do this? This is the model. It's the process of the model. This is a schema. So this is data sources that you can take. You can take Analytics 360. You can take raw data from BigQuery. You can take Adobe Analytics. You can take Mixpanel, or any of even your BI or CRM data that you want to take. This will be the inputs to your model, the prediction process. It will bucket your data, the visitors data, into behavioral sections, as I talked about, like your session duration, your bounce rate, your time taken on the website, the days since last session, and rest. And transactional will be what kind of products they're viewing, what kind of products they have bought in the last 7 days, what is the difference between the two dates of transactions, how much revenue have they given, what is the CLV of the customer, and XYZ again. And customer data is about the customer itself, like from what geo it is coming, what is the demographic, uh, uh, and what kind of device category they're using. Are they shopping on their phones, or they're shopping on their tablets or their desktops, and all this data. And of course, there also will be some custom tracking that would be done for your business specific, right? Say payment modes, or say people checking the pin codes before doing a service, or before adding a product to a cart. Generally, they do it, right? So all these attributes of the visitor data, they're grouped, and then the model runs on it. It tries to find a pattern based on the behavioral, transactional, customer data, which says that this people or this set of audience has the maximum probability of getting converted. This audience set is now can be sent into your Google Analytics or your Web Analytics data, or can be sent to any of your marketing platforms. So you might be doing remarketing through AdWords or DoubleClick or MailChimp for your email marketing, Facebook ads, all kinds of remarketing platforms that you can fairly use. So the schema says that you send in data from any of your data sources. We run the model, which is actually a supervised classification model. It classifies a visitor if it is going to convert or not. And all this thing, we use deep learning using multiple layered feature extraction for it. And we employ Google Cloud Services for the entire processing. Okay, sounds interesting. Apart from this marketing platform, so you might now ask me, how do you measure the accuracy? So the monitoring has to be done from both the ends, say from the client end as well as from our end. So we will be doing continuous monitoring of the campaigns, of the audience that are converting. What is the CVR? What is the revenue that we are generating? What is the revenue per transaction, cost per transaction, and the like, correct? So if you ask me, Bismayy, if I'm an e-commerce company, can you do certain use cases for me? Yes, of course. We can do segments, audience segments, say who are likely to buy a particular product category. Only footwear, for example. You want to know who are these people who are going to buy footwear from my e-commerce store. We can get you that. We can get you who are these people, who are this audience who are going to purchase twice in a month. We can get you the audience who are likely to use credit card or say wallet as a mode of payment. As you know, most of the e-commerce sites today, they have their own e-commerce wallets. So, and they are really promoting it based on this demonetization and UPI thing that has come up. So we can help you create those audience segments based on our prediction. say if you are a lead gen, what do I do? That's like Tatvik. Tatvik is a lead gen company, and what we employ Predictive for it is we predict which of this audience that has come to a website in the last 15-20 days or 1 month, and if they're going to submit their details or request for consultation on a visit on our contact us page. Fair, right? What about a publisher? A publisher has a lot of news articles. They want to see how much viral are the articles going on. And virality, if it can be taken as a measure of the shares or the social shares that are done on the social mediums, say Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, we can help you predict whether how many people or which are the set of audience that are going to share your content on social media. Say you want to promote a particular sports section. So during IPL season, some of the publisher wanted to promote their sports section, and they wanted us to predict what is the audience segment that will come to visit their sports section, so that they could also let in more on their using AdSense. They could let in more sports related websites to showcase their product ads on the pages, and we could do the same using Predictive model. Okay, so everything said, all these use cases that I have been talking about are again business specific. If it is it is a requirement for my client, and if they want that this type of predictor use cases is more important for them rather than their own goal conversion or say a revenue or a transaction, prediction model can take that into picture. It's just doing a little bit of tweaking on the model, doing some sort of feature engineering back on the model, and we are again back on track. So this is the most important part where all marketers like us, even Aditi talks about, I need ROI of my campaign. She runs quite a lot of AdWords campaign. The last time I was checking out, and she was saying, Bismayy, I'm not getting my ROI, so help me out. So we understand that, and that's where we are predicting model targets. How do you increase your ROI, and how do you increase your conversions, and with a less ad cost? So all these are corollaries actually. If I increase your conversions, your ROI is going to change, and even your ad cost will decrease because now you're targeting to a limited set of audience. Okay, so there's a case study. This case study that I'm going to talk is about an e-commerce client that we implemented Predictive. We ran it for a month, just the previous month, and these are the figures. Impressive or not impressive? Let me know afterwards in your chat. We ran the Predictive campaign for about a month, and the results look like this. We got a 170% higher ROI, 70% hike in the conversions, 35% reduced ad cost. All three metrics bang on. Just check the ROI of the other campaigns. It was 0.54, but we got 1.46. The conversions was 0.75. The CVR was 0.75. We came up to 1.25. The ad cost was 1.21. We came down to 0.79. Interesting, impressive, I would say. We kind of outperformed all their remarketing campaigns that they were running at that point of time. Everything said, it's not about the model itself. Again, the creative was also good. They were running a lot of better targeted display campaigns, and they had actually stopped showing the same set of audience other campaigns. That's very important because we need to we don't want to have a case where same set of audience is shown ads from two campaigns because it corrupts the results, correct? So even if you take a look at the revenue, which is showing on the website, showing on the slide, it shows that Predictive had around 37% share of the revenue, while Past Bears campaign had around 35%, Product Viewers had 20%, and Shopping Cart Abandoners had again 20%. Product Viewers had 8%, my bad. Another set of metrics, again revenue per transaction, we have got around 4% higher RPT than the average. Cost per transaction, we got around 65% lower CPT for our campaign than average. We have This is going as a case study in the future, which will be available on our website also. We are just drafting it and we're getting the approvals. Similarly, we have done it for two lead gen sites, one publisher site, and 3-4 e-commerce sites for different kinds of business objectives. Again, as I said in my previous slides. So we have been carrying out this modeling since February end, I would be to be precise, and we have this good heights of measure, like good performance success with these models. So I would urge you, if you are also with remarketing, if you are doing a lot of remarketing, spending at least 25% or 30% of your advertising budget on remarketing, and you're still not getting your ROI and your ad cost is so high, you should take a look at the prediction model. You should let us help you out, giving you a set of audience for at least a couple of weeks. You take a demo, you check the performance, you monitor it, and if you're satisfied, then we just go ahead and implement it for a longer period of time. Correct. Again, let's go back to our agenda. It was about engineering the model, which is important because we are marketers. Some of us may be product managers, some of might be analysts, and we generally want to know what runs behind what, which is important as well. What are the prerequisites? This prerequisites that I have mentioned in the slide was for the e-commerce client that we ran. So it says that we need your Google Analytics 360 account. We use that as the data source, and we actually extracted the data from BigQuery because it gives you more raw visitor data and huge volume of data also. So, and this data was for a period of 1 month, which was our training data set, obviously. And the key data points that are required in GA is, if you are going to remarket through AdWords, we will need a client ID or the visitor ID. That's how we are going to map it. And if you're in Facebook ads, we usually take the phone number or the email, or there's also a Facebook app user ID. Process is quite simple. You extract the data set, you run the model, and you generate the qualified list of visitors. Again, qualified means greater than 80% conversion accuracy. You import this qualified list into a GA360 account and you create audience segments. Those audience segments will have a flagged column near on the same CSV file that is getting imported, which says that these people are flagged as yes to convert within the next 7 days. And these are the people which you should focus on remarketing to them. So you export the segments to your AdWords or Facebook ads, and you run your remarketing campaigns. Tatvik team takes care of the first 2 steps, and the client team takes care of the last step. Why is that? Obviously, because we are more of a digital analytics company. We have not had that much expertise, benchmark expertise, as a digital marketing agency can do, who can create your creatives and run powerful campaigns. But we can empower your digital marketing agencies or your marketing team through this finite set of audiences which are more accurate, which are more targeted, and who are more likely to convert. That will be the value proposition that we are going to provide you. The implementation time takes around 7 to 10 days for the first time, and after that, every 7 days the audience is going to be uploaded again. What do I mean by that? It's like, if it is an e-commerce company, and we generally consider that if somebody has come within the last 7 days or last 15 days or last 20 days, the pattern that he is going to convert within the next 7 days is generally high. And that's where we will only remarket to those people who are going to convert in the next 7 days. If we fail, like if we don't convert him or her, that same set of audience again gets pulled into the training model, so that on the next Monday of the model, of the modeling, we get a fresh set of audience for you to remarket to. And that's how we, using this audience freshness feature, we keep on we keep on building the accuracy of the model. Okay. So how do you do the performance monitoring? Obviously, you can do it on your Google Analytics, or you can do it in a marketing tool dashboards. So I just had two examples here. Say if you had repeat buyers, you had the cart abandoners campaign, you had a listing page abandoners, and then there was a Predictive campaign. We were actually getting, if you can see, we were actually getting 3,000 transactions out of this 8,000 users. Isn't that impressive? While they had some listing page abandoners, that campaign got only 900 transactions out of 14,847 transactions users. My bad. So that means like we had a CVR of around 10.72%. That's pretty good. You can also do the same monitoring using your AdWords or using your own marketing tool dashboards. Correct. So if you ask me about the model, then again, there's one thing that I kind of missed out while talking to you about is what goes behind the feature engineering of the model. As I said, there's a lot of this attributes data that we collect, and then we run, we do a lot of this feature engineering based on, say, outliers removal. We do this principal component analysis, we do discriminant analysis, and we do an undersampling and oversampling, because usually the conversion rate is quite low. So you need to sample out the data before running a model on it, so that because machine is going to understand that if X is coming and there is a Y% chance that is going to convert within the next 3 days. That's how the pattern is right. Correct. So that's all basic data science that we may or may not go deep into it. Our main focus as a marketer, as Aditi says, I need my ROI. I need my ROI for the money that I'm pushing in to the campaign. So I think that's much about it. I wanted to talk to you about, is there anything else that I would love to answer your questions, if some of them have come up. And there is also this, there's this link that is flashing on the screen. I think Aditi will take over from here. Yeah, Aditi?
Yep, Bismayy, thanks. All right. So the link that you see on the on the website, on your screens right now, I'm so sorry, is the link to a Google form that I'm going to send you out in just a bit. Just a reminder before we get on with our other things. If you have any questions, please type them into the control panel. And if you have any feedbacks or anything that you'd like to say, please tweet to us. Here's our Twitter handle. All right. So before we have a few questions right now, I think, okay, we have a pretty good number of questions today. What we are going to do now is I'll roll out a poll while Bismayy starts to answer these questions. It's just to know whether you'd like to sign up for a demo of our Predictive model. Please do let us know, and we'll get back to you personally on an email. All right, so Gopinath Murthy asks a question. He's saying which type of neural network you have used.
Okay. Gopinath, again, so I think my team had used a series of this. If I remember, the last time we were talking about in the group, it was CNN, convoluted neural networks. If that answers your question, okay. Yeah, Aditi.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have a few more questions that we'd like to answer. Just give me a second. All right. So Aarti is asking, who will run the remarketing campaigns? Will I run it, or will Tatvik run it for me? I think we did take this up, but why not recap it for her?
Yeah. Thank you, Aarti. So the point is, again, the digital marketing agencies are there for you guys. They know to run better campaigns than obviously we could do for you. because they have been doing it for quite an amount of time now. It's just that they do it on certain rules that we and like you and I would have placed on the audience list. Say we were to filter it on geo or demo, or say people who had visited your website for the last for more than 3-4 times. So all these rules or association that we have done on our audience list is what they run the campaigns on. But if I say that I give you a more targeted list or a small list of audience which have a high probability of converting, then uh, they can do better creatives, they can do more better targeting on them, and get awesome results, get impressive results. Yeah. I yeah. Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, we are actually running out of time, but I'm going to take up a couple of more questions. Hemang is asking, what do you mean by audience upload every 7 days? Please throw some light on this.
Sorry, could you please repeat?
Sure. So the question is, what do you mean when you say upload audience every 7 days?
Okay. Yeah. So as I was talking about, say for it's a business specific again question. For example, your conversion cycle is 7 days, or conversion cycle is 15 days, or it's 30 days. Accordingly, audience upload or the audience freshness, that the segment that is uploaded into your analytics or your marketing platforms will have to be refreshed again and again. Otherwise, what happens is like that stale audience set, you will continue to remarket again and again, but you won't get the juice out of them. So it's better that once you upload an audience for say for a period of 7 days, 7-day period conversion cycle, you check how much is the conversion happening from that audience, and after that you run the model again with that XYZ audience that have come in those last 7 days, so that when the model runs on the 8th day or the next week, you have a better set of fresh audience who have a higher conversion potential. Correct? I think I answered his question quite a bit.
Yeah, so
one more question, I think. Yes.
yeah, we have a question from Omar Amin.
Okay.
He's asking, do you do the implementation to set up the remarketing, especially for Google product ads remarketing? Sorry.
Okay. If I understand his question, yeah, we do the implementation process to set up the remarketing, as in we have done it for a particular client. Actually, we have done I'm not sure about Google products product ads, if I understand what you were trying to mean here. We actually made some display campaigns for them, and also search ad campaigns for them. So yeah, obviously we can do the implementation, but again, as I said, we are generally focused on the analytics part. Like we do the modeling, we do the prediction modeling, we send the audience to your data marketing platform, and we give you the full fledged freedom that you can run your own campaigns based on it, with the caution that you don't run any other campaigns on the same sort of audience. Okay. Yeah, I hope I answered Omar quite well.
Yep, I hope so too. Omar, let us know if you answered your question. Thanks a lot for your question. All right, so we have a few more, but we are actually running out of time, unfortunately. But guys, please be rest assured, if we have missed out on any questions, Bismayy and I will both get back to you personally on an email with a detailed answer to all your questions. Now, as promised, here's a token of gratitude. You can see the coupon code flashing on your screens right now. If you could just drop in an email to us with the coupon code in the subject line, we have a gift for you, which is a free demo GA audit today. Get your website's GA implementation, Google Analytics implementation checked from Google Analytics experts from Tatvik. Thank you so much for staying with us. Another announcement that I have is of the upcoming webinar. It is on progressive web apps analytics for offline tracking. We have two speakers, both of them are experts. Anirudh Desai is the the techie at Tatvik who has taken care of the entire PW analytics for offline tracking. And Pankaj is a customer success manager, and he's implemented it for a few of our clients, and he's going to take you through real business case scenarios. It is on the 20th of July, same time. Please do register. I'll send out the link in the follow-up email. And all right, I'm also going to send out a link in the chat right now. Please be sure to fill up this form and register for the demo of our Predict N model. Guys, thank you so much for attending. It was a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bismayy.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you guys for going back to the end of this. And if you guys are really interested in remarketing using predictive analytics, please reach out to us. We would definitely like to love to increase your ROIs. Yeah. Thank you, Aditi, again. Yeah.